Hello, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and joining me, as always, is Mike B.
What it do?
I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing over there. You doing dancing with your arms?
Well, I was turning my ringer on my phone off so we won't be distracted during the show. I'm thinking about the show. Thinking about you.
Anywho, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
A little sleepy.
Yeah, you look tired.
I woke up. I was good. I'm working on a spell book for Halloween. So I told you I was crafting. Why are we even going here?
A spell book?
When I finish it.
I feel like you're actually probably trying to concoct some spells as well.
No, I'm actually just trying to remake the spell book in Hocus Pocus. Have you seen Hocus Pocus?
No. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
You got to see Hocus Pocus.
I don't have to see Hocus Pocus.
Yes, you do. You have to see Hocus Pocus. But anyway, I'm trying to recreate the spell book so I can put it in my living room. I took some pictures of some stuff I was making and sent them to my auntie. She's like, "Are you doing this for a party?" It's like, "No, I'm decorating my house."
Yeah. And did she say, "You doing too much?"
She just laughed at me.
I'm sure she knows you by now.
So anyway, I got up, I did a little crafting, and then I heard a big bang, and my lights went out.
How long were they out?
They were out for about 3 hours.
Oh.
It took about 3 trucks to fix whatever the problem was.
Sound like a transformer blew.
That's what I thought it was, but that doesn't normally take the 3 trucks from the power company to fix it. And they were out there for a long time, and it normally doesn't take that long. They usually come, do something, and I guess flip a switch, and boom, we got power again. They were out there for 3 hours. I don't know what happened.
You didn't go out there and ask? Do your neighborly duty?
No, that was too far up the street. I wasn't about to walk up there.
Oh, okay.
So I came back inside, and I called my grandma, talked to my grandma for a little while, and then I fell asleep.
And that made you...
And now I'm sleepy.
Late for the show, right?
Well, that too. I woke up because I thought my house was on fire. I smelled burning something. I think my neighbors are barbecuing, and they just don't know how.
Oh, you know how some people barbecue or smoke with wood? And some people use like regular tree, not no cherry wood, not no apple wood.
I'm like,
hickory.
What is going on? I thought it was my house. That's what woke me up. So
they're using house wood. So then gonna come and ask you, do you want a plate?
No,
so you
like, can keep that because it did not smell tasty at all.
Are you a fan of eating other people's food?
It depends on the people.
Not family, because I'm sure you...
It depends on the people. It always depends on the people. I don't normally just go to folks and, hey, can I come over? No. My neighbors are barbecuing. Nice. And I like my neighbors, but nice. I don't know the way you keep your house. Mm-hmm. I don't know the way you keep your
You ain't been
kitchen.
in your neighbors' houses?
I've only been inside of, the 2, one on each side of me, but the one family to the right of me, they moved. And I was only in there maybe a couple of times, just kind of right in the threshold of the door. And then my neighbor who on the left of me, she keeps my dog every once in a while when I go out of town. So I've been in her house.
Because of your dog?
Yes.
She let your dog come in the house?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She has a dog herself.
Okay.
So she babysits my dog for me. So I've seen those 2, but the rest of them, I've got one across the street. He's an ex-cop. I've been in his threshold as well. But that's about it.
But you wouldn't eat their food?
No, I don't know them like that.
Okay.
I mean, they nice and we see each other. I don't know them like that.
Okay. I'm not trying to make
black.
you, I'm not trying to make you eat their
I got to
food.
know how you wash your hands, wash your meat, especially the meat got to be,
You know, some people don't believe in washing and cleaning the meat. They say that's actually bad for the meat. The meat complains.
Well, the meat would just have to complain. Because do you know what that meat... My sister's
I feel like this is about to be gross.
No, I'm not even going to tell the story. My sister's grandmother used to work in a meat factory, and she's told me horror stories of what happens to meat. Mm-hmm. So, no, I refuse. No, every washing, if I could put soap on it and wash it and scrub with a scrub brush, I would. But they tell me that's not good for the meat.
Yeah, I can believe that. And then I'm dealing with my grandmother who a while ago told me, remember, I think I told you guys that she had that bacon in her refrigerator for like 3 months, and I had to go and like sneak. It was maple bacon. So she didn't like it, but she didn't want to throw it away because that's, food and somebody could enjoy it. And I'm like, but it's been in there for months. And she's like, you definitely ain't from the country because we didn't even have refrigerators and we would keep, meat I don't know how. I'm like, I don't know how you survived this this long. Well, maybe their stomachs were made out of something different back then. I don't know.
No.
But speaking of her, I actually, per usual, I go and take her groceries. We sit down, we have a good time, and it's usually some shenanigans. And this time was no different. She always confuses me and my brother, even though, I got all this hair on my head. He got a very, very low haircut, which is why she asks me all the time, is my hair real? Because she doesn't believe it, and she's thinking that I'm him. But anyway, she has this one memory of when he came over her house and he brought a girl. And so she always asks me, where your girl at? I'm like, y'all still together? I'm like, that wasn't me. That was my brother. And then she's like, oh, I always get you guys confused. And then she's like, where your girl at? I said, well, it's just me. I'm solo right now. She said, you need to get you a girlfriend because we don't need you out here masturbating. And she said, you didn't think I knew that word, did you? And I mean, I could not even respond. I couldn't respond. We don't need you out here. Why are we even having this conversation? I'm up here.
Want you out here masturbating.
That's not something that you and Granny talk about. We don't need you. What? You need to get you a girlfriend because we don't need you out here masturbating.
Hey, my grandma's told me about her sex life, so
But it's you are a woman, and your grandmother is a woman. I understand
so
that.
It would have been okay coming from your grandpa.
Oh yeah. And Grandpa probably would be like, hey, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. But no, we don't need you out here masturbating. My face was so tight and red. Like, I can't believe we're having this conversation. But I should have expected it because usually some random crazy crap always comes out of her mouth. Gotta love her.
Well, ladies,
she's
y'all hear
at that age.
Mike B's grandma said he needs a girlfriend.
So I won't be out here Oh, my goodness. It was embarrassing.
Well, maybe
as if we had
told her something about himself, and she got you confused with him.
I have no idea. The fact that she don't really turn on her TV, the only thing she's doing is watching or reading the Enquirer, and then they had an article about I forgot, like Marlon Brando or somebody was accused of killing Princess Diana. This is all on the headlines. She said, "Did you know about this?" I'm like, "No, I didn't, because I don't believe it." And she loves that type of stuff.
Like a real magazine, a real newspaper?
No, I take her what she likes. She probably wouldn't read that. It'll end up hiding in one of her drawers or something like that, and she'll say somebody took it because she didn't want to deal with it. She didn't want to read it. She know what she want. She ain't that crazy.
You sound like my grandma. Hiding it with her drawer. Somebody took it. Is that something grandmas do?
I feel like you reach a certain age and you just do that. I feel like grandpas eventually do. If they cared enough, they probably would hide some stuff. They probably don't care.
Grandpas don't do much of nothing. They just sit in a chair, whatever. My grandpa used to always sit with a cup of beer. And I looked over there one day, and I shouldn't even ask because I should have known what it was. I said, "Papa, what you drinking?" "A cup of piss." Like,
oh my goodness!
Really? Did you just say that to me?
But they reach a certain age, they have like a weird sense of humor, and sometimes we don't get it.
I don't think we ever get it.
Maybe I feel like once you reach that age, and
we'll see.
Yeah, you gonna get it. I can see you having those types of conversations. You have crazy now, not drinking a cup of PI, not drinking that. But as far as a masturbation conversation, I can see you having that.
Well, I mean, I would have. My mom's had those conversations with me since I was
those
5.
women and women. I'm saying women to your grandson.
I mean, I would talk to my nephew about it.
I bet you. You know what? See, I told you already have crazy, so I can understand.
But somebody got to talk to him.
Yeah, he got a daddy.
Well, his daddy is in Michigan.
You don't think his daddy still know that he needs to eventually have a conversation with him?
Hey, when the questions come out, I answer. I don't care what the question is. So
I guarantee you, I didn't ask my grandma.
That would be interesting.
Anyway.
Okay. You remember back a few months ago, we were talking about the grocery store, the new grocery store in the urban neighborhood.
Yeah, and they had the sign on. They had a sign on the door. No strollers, no big bags. Yeah.
They shot up that grocery store.
No, I didn't know that.
Just actually a few weeks ago, gunshots. One of the clerks was shot and she survived. But yeah, just somebody drove down through and just started shooting up the grocery store. God only knows why. This is why we can't have nothing,
right?
Because we got idiots, and of course everybody's trying to hide the guy. The people who know who did it don't want to say nothing.
It's time out for the whole no snitch situation, especially when it's affecting your neighborhood negatively, affecting your family, and it could potentially be your family.
Right.
It's time to start speaking out and not living by that creed.
And a lot of these people, they don't have another grocery store, they don't have another place to go, and you shooting up the only place. And what makes it so bad is you shooting up the only place that you have to go. And then you the first one to complain. Well, why ain't there nothing down here?
But see, they got a car because they were driving by, was shooting at the place.
Probably stole somebody's car
or that.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention it.
But you would think that if this is the only grocery store in your neighborhood, one thing you would want to do is protect it versus shooting it up. Because for what? I mean, what's the point?
I don't get it. I don't understand. I just,
especially in your own neighborhood.
And when you don't have much of nothing. So, anywho, I do have one complaint before we go on with the show. I got one complaint. So, and ladies will understand this, and you will probably see where I'm going because you're a man. And if you can't follow this, I'm
probably an alien.
No, and I think you, of all people, can follow this story. So, my gym, they renovated, and they put all new machines in.
Oh, okay. It's a Planet Fitness or something, right?
Right.
Okay.
They've got this really cool leg curl machine, and you kind of lay over a little hump, and you lift the weight with your legs.
Okay.
Well, they got this machine sitting in a doorway. So right behind you is all the weights. So, that's where all the guys are because they lifting weight.
Okay.
So all the free weights are over here. And every guy in the gym is on this end of the gym. And then all the different other machines are on the other side. And then in this doorway, there's these are kind of like leg machines in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting right in the doorway. You facing inside the room. Your butt is facing outside the room. And you
it's one of those where you lay on your stomach and then, okay.
And you curling these weights.
Right, for your
I've
hamstrings.
been asking them to move this machine to a corner so people are not behind you. And everybody says, oh, yeah, I can understand. And they won't move it. Finally.
Well, how can they understand and not move it?
Finally, I went and I said, okay, now I asked 3 days in a row here for y'all to move this machine. And y'all not moving the machine. I said, y'all playing with me. Y'all gonna make me get radio, TV, and all kind of people up in here. And I will be boycotting and picketing down the street if y'all don't do something. And he said, yeah, I did. I told him. He said, they not gonna move it. I said, why not? Because they got other things they worried about. I said, no. Yeah, I mean, I've been laughing. I've been lighthearted and everything. But now I'm serious. That machine is not in a good place. It's inappropriate. One, if you bring a little kid, can you imagine a girl with a big butt laying across this machine, lifting and curling these weights, and she's already, just to move her legs the way she's got to move it, she kind of humping anyway.
Yeah.
And here come this little kid with this big booty woman, and his eyes all wide looking. That's inappropriate, number one. Number two, forget the little kid. It's the men behind you. And my name and information got out because of something I did for somebody to get a job with the government. So the government gave us free credit report things and free credit monitoring.
Yeah.
And part of that credit monitoring is they tell me when the sex offenders come in the neighborhood. I swear I get a ding almost every other day about somebody new who's on the sex offender registry.
What's going on in your neighborhood?
My neighborhood? I don't know. This is evidently where they can be. I don't know. But my point is, you don't know what's going on behind you. You don't know who you titillating. You don't know what guys are saying. And I mean, yeah, they can be back there being immature and saying stupid stuff, but you can also have a sex offender back there and not realize it. And then the next thing you know, you getting stalked, watched, and somebody breaking in your house. This is not appropriate. it does not need to be in this door. So he said, okay, go back there and tell the manager. So I told the manager Friday, and she told me she was going to move the machine herself if she could not get corporate to move it. Because she said, yeah, I used it the other day, and I know exactly how you feel. We'll see. If that machine ain't moved Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
Today is Sunday, okay.
I won't use it until the end.
Okay.
I use it when I do on leg day. But if it's not moved by leg day, and that's Thursday, not Friday, so it's going to be a problem.
You going to call? You should take a picture of it too, like the location.
Friend I got in radio and TV, and somebody will be up there.
You should maybe stand where the weights are and then take a picture of the machine.
With
and people will
somebody
recognize,
else.
well, you don't want to put them
Right.
out there like that. But people will recognize what the machine is and how you have to, use it. And so they'll get it and then maybe understand. And if you tweet it to Planet Fitness and let them know that this is a problem and you plan on pursuing, action, then I guarantee you they'll call that office and get it moved. Because,
Well,
I don't
also
understand why it's so hard to just move
Just
it.
move it to a corner.
I mean,
right?
is it like a super heavy machine? Can you
No.
move it yourself? I'm not saying you should.
No, I've seen some of the guys move them around.
Okay.
Because they had a glute machine that you kind of had to lean over into, and that one was off in the corner. But now they've replaced that glute machine with a stand-up one, so it's still off in the corner. But this one is right in the doorway, and it's like, come on, y'all, this don't make sense. Y'all not thinking here. So what I was
Was the manager was a woman?
She was a woman.
That's hard to believe. Not hard to believe that it was a woman, but for her to have not understood
Moving
initially
the
and moved
machine.
it once
Right.
when she used the machine.
That should have been the first
Yeah.
thing she said is this is inappropriate. So what I was going to do was get, see if I could find somebody who works with rape victims and have them come in and take a look at where this machine is so they can explain why this is inappropriate.
All right.
I mean, it's just like it's falling on deaf ears, and it's like, come on. This is a lawsuit waiting to happen, especially in the Me Too movement.
Right. And that's what they're not considering. And like I said, with the manager being a woman and she's used the machine, knows how you feel, that she should have done it herself.
Yeah.
If she needed to.
It should have been
You
done.
should need I don't think an approval from corporate
To move a machine.
Yeah.
So,
To avoid corporate having to get involved in a lawsuit. I feel like
Keep on messing with me. They will see my power. Anywho, so you got a bae for me today?
I do have a bae. And this came out, I think, at the end of August, where 21-year-old Simone Biles swept all 5 titles at the 2018 National Championships at Boston's TD Garden. Like I said, at the end of last month, it says this is only her second meet since the Rio Olympics in 2016, and she won gold on the uneven bars, the vault, the floor, the balance beam, and in the all-around. And it says the 5-time Olympic medalist is the first non-teen to win the U.S. all-around in more than 40 years, and she is also the only female gymnast to place first in all of the titles at the national championship since Dominique Dawes, another black woman doing boss things. So shout out to Simone Biles.
I like her.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's a sweet little girl. And yeah, to me, she's a little girl.
We
Sorry.
know.
Really do.
We know.
Anywho. So let's get it started.
A lot's going on.
A lot. First of all, when I first saw the story of Geoffrey Owens, he's Elvin from the Cosby Show.
That was Sandra's husband or boyfriend?
Sandra's husband.
Okay.
Well, boyfriend and husband. But he was caught working at Trader Joe's.
There's an interesting choice. Caught.
Well, because he was caught. He was caught on camera working at Trader Joe's. But
You ain't supposed to be here. Go ahead.
well,
go.
no, when I first heard it, it made me mad. It just really ticked me off because people were job shaming him.
Yeah.
And, specifically Fox News. But I'm thinking, wait a minute. First and foremost, there's a black man with a job.
I wasn't
y'all
understanding.
Need to not be job shaming nobody with a job.
I thought they were sharing a picture of someone like a lookalike. I didn't know that was actually him. And then I'm like, okay, well, what's the big deal? Like, he's working. I can see if you got caught a picture of him slanging drugs on the corner or something like that.
I'd be shaming him then.
Or they're behind the dumpster, just doing something illegal
wrong.
and something wrong versus doing what he's supposed to do as a man
have a
who wants to provide for his family, working.
And then on top of that, they act like it was so wrong what he was doing. Oh, it was so beneath him. And it's like, wait a minute. Y'all killed the Cosby Show.
Yeah. Well, Cosby,
No,
he killed the Cosby Show.
Because Cosby could have kept on. Cosby did what he did, but
Yep.
they could have kept on airing the Cosby Show, just like they did that one where the man was a preacher. I can't even remember the white man's name.
Seventh Heaven.
Yes, that show,
Did they keep that show on? I don't.
that show was still on after he did that. They finally killed that show when people started complaining about Cosby being removed. That's when they finally removed that show. It was still airing up until then. So they could have kept on airing it because the Cosby Show is bigger than Bill Cosby.
Yeah, but the Cosby Show is also bigger than that show that you're talking, Seventh Heaven.
Well,
and that's why I think it
too.
was able to fly under the radar without much attention
No,
until somebody as big as Bill Cosby. But I
still
understand
think it
what
was a
you're
black and
saying.
white thing,
It could be. It usually always goes back to that. But I understand what you're saying, where the show is not in syndication, so I think
he's
maybe
not
on one or
getting
two
residuals.
channels, so he's not getting that
I don't even
extra
think it's
stuff.
on one or two channels anymore. I think they finally pulled it out.
It's not on TV
everything.
One anymore.
I don't think so. I think they pulled it off of everything.
I feel like
now,
they had took it off and then it came
They
back
took it
after a
off.
couple months.
They took it off of every channel for a little while, and it came back on black channels.
Right.
It resurfaced on black channels, and now it's gone off of those.
Oh, okay, that I didn't know.
Yeah, it's gone again. So he's not getting residuals. Felicia Rashad's not getting her residuals.
But she got another job. She's on Empire.
Yeah,
well, she
we
got
might have to hurt
another
her.
acting job that we can see because he's still working. He's still doing other things. We just don't know about it.
Right, and I mean, you got to remember this man is a Yale graduate. He has taught at Yale. He is a Shakespeare expert. He does a lot of Shakespearean plays. The reason he took the job at Trader Joe's was so he could continue to work. That's the thing. He wanted to continue to work. And in order to
Why
work,
should you have to
a
explain that?
Right. Well, no, you shouldn't. But let's be real. This is what actors do. All actors work odd jobs until they hit it big.
Until it's time for the next project.
Right. And they do that so that they can go to auditions and show up at different interviews and this, that, and the third. They have a flexible schedule.
Right. And you don't get that flexibility in corporate America.
No, you don't. So I don't blame him. He did what he had to do for his family. Period. And if he was my husband, I'd have been like, get a job too. so he did something and as black women, we should definitely understand because we always, if your husband ain't working, get a job.
And you know what? I feel like the most of the outpouring on social media about this particular situation was in support of him,
Yes,
trying to
was.
understand
And
what's
that
the
was
big
the
deal. This is a black man working. He's not doing anything wrong. We support
Social
you.
media did what they were
Yeah,
supposed
and
to
that's-
do. I was like, whoa. Black Twitter stood up.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on?
Right.
So, I mean, I was proud of social media. I was proud of the time we lived in. And I hope it stays that way. If a man got a job, if a woman got a job, just be happy they got a job. Just because it's not, you think it's beneath you, then you don't have to do that job. But I sure hope you ain't sitting around collecting welfare.
Yeah, and the sad part is the people who believe jobs like McDonald's or working at Walmart and stuff like that is beneath them don't have a job. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I wouldn't work at McDonald's.
I would
or
work at
Walmart.
McDonald's. I would work at Walmart. I would work anywhere I needed to provide for my family.
I wouldn't unless I had to. If I have to, I got to. I don't have no choice.
Right. To me, that doesn't mean that you believe it's beneath you.
No,
That's,
I just don't want to walk outside my house.
Oh, well.
If McDonald's would have put a fryer in my house, I'll flip burgers all day long. But
McDonald's sell burgers?
Huh?
McDonald's sell, I know they sell they got like a little deli or whatever. Oh, you said McDonald's. I'm thinking of Walmart.
Did you say does McDonald's sell burgers?
I'm thinking of Walmart. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know about this.
Moving on. So, y'all know everybody burning up their Nikes.
Yeah.
I think it's quite funny. And one person even said, I'm burning my Nikes. I'll never buy Nike again. I'm gonna buy Converse. Nike on Converse.
And a lot of, people
Dummies.
they don't know, they don't care. It's just the popular thing to do right now, to be anti-black protest, period. I don't think it has anything really to do with Kaepernick, but he's the face of the NFL protest at the moment, the protest against police brutality, racial injustice. So they are against anything associated with him. And I'm glad to see the outpouring of support. that I've been seeing from people
Nike
of the
shares
Nike.
went up.
Yeah, I think they took a dip, or they got hurt like the first couple hours or something like that.
Boom, they soared through the roof. So I mean, hey, good for them. All I'm saying is, just like them jerseys when they was burning Kaepernick's jersey, y'all stupid. That's y'all.
You've already spent your
burning.
money.
You've already paid the company. They don't care about what you're doing
afterwards,
after the fact.
right?
So hey.
And then I like when I was seeing the posts going around saying, you got all these people who are against Colin Kaepernick and, his protests and saying it's against the veterans and all of this, but you're burning these materials that you could be donating to veterans. You're not looking at it that way because you're just anti-black, period. It has nothing to do.
Took pictures of his shoes, his little, he was in his fatigues with his boots, and his boots were Nike boots. One guy, and I don't know if this was real or fake, but one guy took a picture of one of them Make America Great Again hats, and they got a Nike logo on
no,
the
that wasn't real.
Like, I don't know if that's
real.
real or not, but
no.
if it is, it's funny.
Because I believe that those hats are made in China.
Oh,
so
that's right.
It wouldn't have a Nike symbol on it. And I can't see, hopefully Nike wouldn't stoop that low.
Right? Ayanna Pressley.
Uh-huh.
African-American woman, won her district for the Democratic primary. She will run against the Republican this November. She's in Massachusetts. And
do we know what she's running for? Is it for Congress? Is it for district attorney?
No, I believe it's Congress. I know her district, she is the only, her district is predominantly black.
Okay, that's good.
So, which is probably why she won. No shade there. But I bring this up just to say that when we show up, we show out.
Again,
we can do this.
We can if we stop believing the hype of your vote doesn't matter. And I feel like every time I hear somebody say that, I have to revert back to my point of if it didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying to suppress it so hard. That should tell you something right there that it matters. It counts. You just have to do it. Like Nike say, just do it.
She's a city council person now, so I'm thinking she's running for Congress. I just can't. I can't remember. I had to look her up and see exactly what she's running for.
Okay.
Make sure we put it at the bottom of the screen. But hey,
okay.
I mean,
okay, work.
No, I mean in the comments section.
Okay, I can do the in the description or somewhere.
We'll put it up there so y'all know. But or y'all can look it up as well.
We can put an article about it on the Facebook
page.
Yeah,
I can do that as well. But yeah, she won her district. And I mean, this on top of the Gilliam in Florida, he won his district and he's running for governor.
Right. Did we talk about him last episode?
No, I don't think he had won yet.
Okay.
So no, we hadn't talked about him, but yeah,
for
he
some
won
reason
in
I was
Florida,
thinking,
and I mean, we can do it. We can do this. We showed up when that idiot ran, that little that man that liked them little girls.
Oh, Roy Moore?
Yes. When he ran, black women came out and showed him, this ain't happening, not in my state.
And the scary part, though, is how people don't even think about the midterms as important. They only think about the presidential election. And so I hope we don't fall for that okie doke this time. Seeing all the stuff that's going on in the world, all the stuff that's going on in our own country regarding these laws, regarding these people that are supposed to represent us, that do not represent us, don't give a shit about us. We have the opportunity to change that and get someone in office that not only looks like you, and if they don't look like you, make sure they still represent you and hold the same values and beliefs that you have before you vote them in. But we have the opportunity to make that change.
That's the best thing about our democracy. If we make a mistake,
we got an opportunity to fix it. Yeah,
we have opportunity after opportunity, and it's not every 4 years. A mistake was made 2 years ago.
Yeah, and we
have
are
an
about
opportunity
to
correct
with
that.
this whole Judge Kavanaugh situation. That is the result of a mistake
Yes.
America made in
And
2016.
it's gonna be
It's one that we have to
gotta
live
for
with.
at least the next 10 years. At least the next 10 years. So we got to do something different. We got to get out and vote. I mean, it's so important. If you don't have a ride to the polls, you got until November to find one. Contact churches, contact taxi cabs, contact Lyft, contact Uber. See who's doing deals, see who's doing what. Contact your transportation department, for your city. See who's doing what to get you out to the polls. You don't know where your polling place is? Find it. Get on the internet, go to your city's website, find a way to find your polling place.
This is also a good time to check your election website for your city, your county. Check the election website, because a lot of times they put what's going to be on the ballot. They put like a sample ballot, so you know who's going to be on the ballot. You can start researching these people, and like I said, find someone who you believe would truly represent you and your beliefs, instead of just voting for a name you don't know, people you don't know. Get to know these people.
An opportunity to look at their record, and if you got judges on your ballot, you need to go look up those judges. Look up their records. See how they normally preside over things. So hey, let me get a better judge, or I don't like this judge. We need somebody different, or I like this judge. Let's keep him in.
All right.
You got an opportunity. It's time to do it. It's time to get it all done.
Okay. It's time to get it all done.
So you remember the story of the cop that shot that man in Tulsa?
In Tulsa?
Yeah. Remember he was he drunk? He was I don't know if he was speeding, but he was walking down the highway when she shot him.
Oh, you talking about Betty Shelby, yes. He wasn't speeding. I don't think he was drunk either. This is the story that they gave. His car had broke down on the side of the road, remember?
Right.
And then they approached him, and then they started to say like he had like drug paraphernalia or whatever.
Right. They claimed he was on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well,
we remember that story. Yes, I remember she got off and then started teaching the class. Oh,
that's it right there. She's teaching a course now on how to survive a controversial shooting. What the hell?
Does that surprise you? That's like OJ writing the book. If I had done it, this is how I would have done it.
It surprised me that they would teach the course.
It was what
surprises me is that they would use her as the teacher.
Why not? She got off.
And that's basically what they saying.
She got off. So in the eyes of everybody else, she's innocent. And so she would know. I feel like there may be other police officers who went through more than what she went through, that, for some reason, the judicial system decided to let them off, that may have more input or insight into something like this versus her. But it's like her way to capitalize, and almost like throw it up in our faces, like nanny boo boo type situation to me.
Right, and that's exactly what it feels like.
And instead of having a course on how to survive something like this, why don't we start having more courses on how to not get into these controversial situations when you can prevent it? Why not have more classes or more training on when you're in an altercation? Your first result shouldn't be to pull out your gun and shoot. Maybe more conflict resolution, maybe talking the person down, maybe resolving stuff and not accelerating or inciting the violence. Because a lot of times these police officers have this, don't say shit to me, don't talk back to me, I'm the authority, I'm this and I'm that, this power complex, and not even like acknowledging who they're dealing with or what they're dealing with. They just, you better listen to me, otherwise I'm going to kill you.
Right. And they not looking at, they don't care about nothing.
They don't care.
Yeah, if you white, we'll think before we shoot. But if you black, no, we just gonna do what we want to do. Anywho, just that just hearing that, it really it hurt.
Like I said, it's like a slap in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, it physically.
But that's
hurt.
This is what America has come to.
No, don't get me started.
That's what we've come to.
Well, here's one that makes it even worse. Amber Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
She's off duty now, coming home. She's a cop, headed home. She goes into Bothem Shem Jean's apartment and shoots him. 26-year-old black man shoots him in his own apartment. He's just sitting there hanging out in his apartment, and she shoots him and claims that she went into the wrong apartment. She thought it was her house, her apartment, and he was in there getting
an
ready
intruder.
to do something.
Yeah, about to do something to her. And like,
This makes
I can
no
understand
sense.
going into a house and then seeing someone that you don't recognize. Your first instinct isn't to shoot that person, though. Your first instinct is to maybe okay, what's going on, and maybe try to peep the scene. That's me. I guess I'm not a police officer, and I'm not trigger happy. So I've gone into, instead of coming to the third floor, go to the second floor, and I'm trying to put my key in somebody else's door. Or I remember opening up a door and seeing that this is not my house, and I close it and back the hell out. And I don't pull out my gun and start shooting, assuming that I'm right.
Well, so much of this is confusing to me. First of all, was his door just open?
Not everybody locks their door. So I think maybe it was unlocked. But okay. I would think if she knew she didn't lock her door, that she would try to use her key. Key don't work, something ain't right.
Okay.
Instead of going on in and shooting someone.
And then the second question is, once you step it through the threshold, you don't know what your house look like inside. Everybody's house don't look the same through the threshold.
Well, we don't know if the lights were on. Maybe the lights were out because do we know what time of day this was?
It was after her shift. That's all they say. It was after her shift, and I'm assuming he was sitting from something somebody reported. It sounded like he was sitting in his living room,
and she just shot him.
That's why I'm like, so much of this doesn't make sense. Cause I've not gone into the wrong apartment, but that's cause I live in a house and my house looked totally different from everybody else's.
Yeah.
But I have gone to the wrong car and be like, why ain't my key working?
I've done that. I've done that too.
And then I'll look and be like, where's my Mickey's?
Because your first instinct is to look around for something familiar. And when I went to the wrong car and it wasn't opening or unlocking, I started looking inside and realizing this ain't my stuff.
Right, and then
and then you bag away. You don't pull out your weapon and start breaking the window I got to get in here. You don't do stuff like that. That's not, I don't think, a person's natural instinct, maybe unless you're a police officer they're trigger happy. And it seems here of late, their instinct is to shoot.
Right.
That she didn't even try to have the conversation. She didn't even. Or I don't know, did they even try to have a conversation? Maybe he said, what are you doing in here? And she's like, what are you doing in here? And just start shooting.
I'm so confused because she's like, the whole point of, I thought it was my apartment. Even once you get so far, you got to know. You should
realize.
It's not my apartment. It don't look like it. I got a picture of my mama here. I got my nieces and nephews here. I got my grandma and my grandpa over there. Where's my favorite blanket? Where's my dog? I mean,
who's moved my furniture around?
Right. Because while the apartments the doors may look the same, you might even have the same kind of threshold entry.
These apartments here, every apartment is the 2-bedroom. They're all the same.
Exactly
Everything's
the
same. Yeah.
So it's same color and all of that. But once you start seeing the stuff in it,
yes,
you know that something ain't right.
Right. Or you should. So I don't buy this story.
I don't buy this story either.
This is something else going on. And this is part of the cover up, in my opinion.
Well, she's been suspended and pending an investigation. No matter what, she wasn't in her apartment. She shot a man in his own apartment. I think she should at least be fired. At the least. The very least.
I think she should be charged. Because to me, this is bullshit. And I think they were the police department were going to charge her with manslaughter, but then they had someone else take over the investigation, and currently they're not going to charge her with anything. They're going to continue investigating and then decide. But of course we know she's probably going to get off because, she's the victim all of a sudden. When she came and victimized, she turned this young man into a victim in his own home, and then there's no justice for that. Right. That doesn't make any sense.
That's what makes it so bad. This man, we already afraid to go out our houses. Now you afraid to sit in your house.
That's why my brother, he'll go outside and he'll smoke, or he'll go to the laundry room. I don't care if you go and just step outside the door. Lock that door. I don't sit in my house with the doors unlocked because you never know what's going on. And then the other day he had the nerve to leave my door unlocked. And then I'm like, where are you? What's going on? He's down at the arcade. He thought he had the key. I wanted to cuss his ass smooth out. And as soon as
were you not here?
No, I was here.
Oh, okay.
And I was sitting right there in the living room. So I'm here watching, but I don't want to have to be alert all the time because you've left the door unlocked.
Right.
And now I can't find you. So of course I locked the door. And as soon as he walked in, I said, put that key in your pocket. Because otherwise I'm going to sleep. You ain't getting in. You're going to sleep outside on that porch because I don't give a shit. Because I don't like playing those types of games.
Right.
Especially when you're staying at somebody else's place, then you have to live by their rules.
You right about that. That's why I don't stay with my mama.
You don't want to live by her rules.
She don't stay with me. I love my mama, but I'm not gonna stay with her. Anyway, so the big story that's just all over everywhere. Did you read the op-ed in the New York Times?
I didn't read it personally, but I watched a video with someone else reading it, so I am aware of the story. Okay,
so for those of you who are living under a rock or like Mike's grandma, only read the Inquirer.
I can guarantee you it didn't make the Inquirer. They ain't talking about nothing like that.
Let me tell you, there's this op-ed piece from an anonymous White House senior executive who, I guess they call themselves, it's not just them, it's them and some other people in the White House.
The resistance inside.
And they claim that they are protecting the country from 45. Well, now, I think we all in agreement. The country does need protection from 45. I'm just not sure if we in agreement about how they're doing it. But anyway, one person wrote this opinion piece and sent it to the New York Times. The New York Times printed it. So I'm just going to read just a few of the quote a few of the lines here. One is, many of the senior officials in his own administration are working diligently from within to frustrate parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. If they frustrating parts of his agenda, what the hell are we seeing?
I feel like if left to his own devices, things would be much worse. I believe that they're doing that. Just remember when he first went into office, so many leaks were happening,
right? Because
people on the inside was like, "This shit ain't right. Shit ain't right."
Shit just I mean, I'm like, okay, so it could be much worse, okay. But then they say, but we believe our first duty is to this country, and the president continues to act in a manner that is detrimental to the health of our republic.
I believe that too.
So why the hell y'all letting him sit in the seat?
Because you have to remember that they may not be able to do anything about it because, it probably goes to Congress. Who's going to stand up against them? That's the problem, because the legislative branch isn't doing what they're supposed to do, because he's been needing to be checked for a long, long time, and they're just sitting idly by and allowing him to frustrate America.
Well, they say the root of the problem is the president's amorality.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
We that's one of them. And we've seen it. But he was an asshole before he got in there.
Right. Meetings with him veer off topic and off the rails. He engages in repetitive rants, and his impulsiveness results in half-baked, ill-informed, and occasionally reckless decisions that have to be walked back. Now we see that daily. We see it in his tweets. My thing is, none of this is a shock.
None of it is surprising. Yes.
It actually falls in line with the 3 books that have been written about him. Omarosa's book,
Fire and Fury or whatever.
I don't know what her name. Don't ask me.
No, I'm talking about the name of the book.
I don't know.
Omarosa's book. I got it from you. Omarosa. I ain't talking about Omarosa's book. I'm talking about the other book.
Bob Woodward's book. I think his was. I don't think his was Fire and Fury. I think he did.
No, Fire and Fury was the first book that came out.
Fire and Fury was the first one. So all 3 books basically say the same thing as this op-ed.
Right.
So it's not that I don't believe this stuff. The fact that we're not doing anything about it, and our Constitution gives us the ability to do something about it, which brings me into the second part of this. It takes an ex-president to stand up and finally say something. Now, the presidents have a code. Once they leave office, they don't get in the next president's
business too much. Yeah,
they don't really say nothing. They stay out of it.
Because W didn't say nothing about
but
Obama.
Then W also wanted out of politics.
Right.
Period. But even Senior didn't say anything about Clinton. Clinton didn't say anything about W, and Clinton had a whole lot he could have said. But the point is, once they sit in that seat, they join this club, so to speak. And they are true to these not goals, but beliefs, and they don't usually talk about each other. They leave that to the other people to do. As you can see, you see how the Obamas and the Bushes get along. Yeah, especially W and Michelle.
Right.
So I mean, they kind of hold true to all of that, and they stick together afterwards. But this one, he was invited because Obama did invite him to the club. He said, "Hey, you got questions? Reach out. We're here." I mean, it's five living presidents. That has never happened. So you got a lot of people you can actually go to. You got questions? Hey, the doors are open. But he's never wanted to use those doors.
No, he wants to do his own thing because he has his own agenda.
He's an asshole.
That's contrary to the American people.
So after this op-ed comes out, I guess Obama just had enough. And so he comes out and he now is speaking against this. And finally, after everything, he mentions Trump by name. And, everybody says, oh, he went and he rebuked Trump and Trump. It was about Trump. No, his speech was not about Trump. His speech was about Congress. His speech was, how is it that we sit here and allow this to happen? We are allowing this. We the people are allowing it by allowing those people in Congress to sit there.
Yeah, right.
Now, I'm never going to vote Republican. Well, let me not say never. The likelihood of me voting Republican is slim to none, put it that way. So all I can do is go vote. I do my part. But every person that didn't get up and get off their butt and go vote, you causing this problem. You're the one causing this problem. Every person who set up and said, well, I don't really like him, but I care more about abortion than his what was the word they used? His character.
Okay.
You're part of the reason we're in this situation.
And I'm sure that particular person goes out and protests against some of the stuff that he's doing, but they weren't protesting that day.
But you weren't protesting that day because all you could see is what you wanted. And I get that. I understand sitting with party when even though you think the person at the top is not really the person in place. But the one thing I kept hearing over and over and over was, I don't care about his character. His character doesn't matter. Character does matter, because this should not be a shock to any of us.
Right.
We saw it before he even ran for president. We saw it just in his shows. We saw it by the way he treated his ex-wives. We saw it by the way he treated his wives. We saw it by the crazy crap he would say about his daughter. His character mattered. Character matters. It matters because your character is who you are. And he hasn't strayed from who he is. No, he hasn't strayed at all from who he is. A freaking idiot. I've always said he was an idiot from day one. Oh, he's so smart. No, he's not.
That's him talking. Saying, well, some people think he's a smart businessman.
No, but I mean, when I look at him on paper, no, he's not.
They're not looking at that. They're looking at what he's telling them and going off of that.
Y'all stupid. So this to me is a problem. So they say the bigger concern is not what Mr. Trump has done to our presidency, but rather what we as a nation have allowed him to do to us. We have sunk low with him and allowed our discourse to be stripped of civility. If that isn't the most important thing, it is we have done this.
You're right.
We have sat there. We elected him in the office. And those people that didn't vote, you elected him in the office. Believe it or not. Your vote was bigger than those, or your lack of vote, put it like that way, was bigger than the 33% of the nation that voted for him. It really was. So we put him in office. We are sitting there and allowing Republicans to not do anything about this. This man has, as far as I'm concerned, he's committed treason. I know he's committed treason. If he hasn't committed treason, he has at least obstructed justice. He just called for the Justice Department to find his leaker. That's not their job.
They're going to try and do it. They will.
I guarantee they will. But that's not their job. They if you want to look for your leaker, you have a secret service. You can make them do whatever you want them to do. They don't work for nobody but you. I mean, they work for the people, but their job is to protect you. Knock yourself out. I think Clinton had a private investigation going on, but he didn't put a call out to the AG and make him do it. That's not their job. Their job is this country. It's not you.
Your personal vendettas or whatever.
I'm over it. This op-ed, I understand why somebody would write it, and I understand why there might be a resistance and a need for resistance. But to me, part of this resistance should be them getting out saying, everybody, you got to vote for somebody who's going to have a spine and stick up to this man. Because Democrats can't do it right now. Not right now. Now, hopefully come November, you people will get out and vote. And Democrats will have something to stand on. I guarantee you, if Democrats take over, he's gone. They want him out of office so bad. He's gone.
He needs to be out of office so bad. And the world sees it, but they sit idly by and allow it.
They did a poll just from countries outside of the U.S. to ask what they feared the most. And over terrorism, they fear this fool. People are afraid. Other countries are afraid. And my thing is, him coming in and him messing with the Paris Accord and the Iran-Contra deal, all of the things that he's done, the one thing he's done is shown the world that, hey, America votes every 4 years. And every 4 years, one president might say one thing, but the rest of them probably won't keep true to it. They won't keep their word. And so now people are looking at us like we won't keep our word. All because of
this guy.
Stupid people. It's not just him. It's him and his supporters.
Yeah.
They can all go to an island somewhere and live happily ever after.
And let him just keep giving speeches and rallies or whatever. Y'all can have a good old time wherever y'all at.
Because he can sure keep campaigning. I've never seen a president campaigning 2 years after he was elected.
He ain't got nothing else to do. Golf, tweet, campaign. I mean, honestly, that's all he does. Harass people.
All I can say is every day this week, I done had my popcorn at 5:30, and I'm like, yes, ooh, the show is about to start. It's been a week.
Yeah, and it can be comedy at times, but underneath it's very sad.
It's anger.
That we're still going through this. I didn't think we would last 6 months with him at the helm, and they forced us to go almost 2 years with this guy.
It's kind of funny because when I call my grandma and I ask her how she's doing, the first thing she says, something hurts. But this time she was like, I'm just disgusted. I'm like, wow, what's wrong? And I'm thinking, oh Lord, what they done to you now? And she just, the state of the world, I'm just disgusted. I'm like, oh, you must be watching the news. And she don't like him, but she don't really talk about him either. Mm-hmm. If you got somebody to talk about 45, it would have been my great uncle. Like when he was dying, I was sitting by his side saying, okay, Harold, this is what we gonna talk about. And we just talk about Trump and all the stupid stuff where I would talk and he would lay there. But just to kind of keep the mood up. And it was funny because nothing would twitch. I mean, he wouldn't do anything but lay there until I walked through the door and started talking about Trump. Then his whole body started twitching. So I don't know if he was telling me, shut the hell up, or just going off in his head. But, my grandma, she never really she just doesn't talk about politics that much. But she was upset today.
Right on.
So
it's upsetting.
It is. And that's my point. When you bothering my grandma, you doing something real wrong. Because she didn't say nothing about Bush. She just rolled her eyes at him, but she never said not a word about him. When you bothering my grandma, you done did something real wrong. So
right on.
But anywho, that's all I got.
Good stuff.
Just figured we fuss at the end.
Don't say we, because I didn't really have anything. Do you plan on getting Bob? What's his name? Bob Woodward's?
That one I actually want to read. That one because Bob Woodward I trust. When I say trust, he has had a career in which he has shown that he is, one, a good writer, two, he's trustworthy, and he's gonna protect his source. So he got a lot of sources in there, and it's a lot of stuff coming out, and people, the Dowd guy who's stealing papers off the desk, or no, he's the lawyer that told him it's either don't testify or wear an orange jumpsuit.
Oh, that's what they told 45.
Yes.
Okay.
Then it was somebody who was working in, I want to say, the military department, who was swiping classified stuff off his desk.
Just to try and prevent him from doing what we know he'd do, something stupid.
It's crazy.
This is sad that we have to treat this grown ass man like a child, and he's holding the most powerful seat in the country.
Yeah, so Bob Woodward's I will probably get. Omarosa's I will read it only under the condition somebody give it to me.
You don't want to buy.
Giving her. I won't even go look it up online.
You know, she's trying to be a part of the resistance. All of a sudden,
whatever. She'll never get her black card back. Kanye West.
He apologized.
Really thinking about running for president.
Okay, moving on. I thought you were going to talk about him apologizing for his slavery was a choice.
No,
comment.
That's because he's trying to run for president.
Okay. He can't. He can't. You know,
he sure can't get his black card back. It's like no.
But the thing about it, like with the whole Kanye situation, black folks, we are a forgiving people. So if you are sincere when you come to us, more than likely, and then the other ones just don't care. The same ones every weekend that are, going up for the NFL. Can't stop watching the NFL, even though they understand what the movement is about.
I'm telling you right
some
now,
black people just won't. They gonna do what they want to do.
The only way Kanye West gonna get his black card back from me is if he works as a slave somewhere.
Okay, and on that note,
I guess that's good night.
Peace.